Broadcasting from the Any Hour Services podcast studios, I'm your host, Mike Wilson, and on this episode of In the House, we're going to be talking about how to clean a bathroom sink. Let's go. In the House is a podcast about the major systems in the house: electrical, plumbing, heating, air conditioning. Each week, I'm joined by a panel of experts, except the weeks that I'm joined by Jesse and Chasen. They are more comedians than they are experts. Just kidding. They're good at what they do. We usually pick a topic and we discuss it in depth. It's meant to be informative and hopefully bring you some value. Like I said, I got Jesse and Chasen here with us today. They're the managers of the Drains and Sewer Department at Any Hour Services. We're going to be talking about how to clean a bathroom sink. So why did you guys want to do an episode about how to clean a bathroom sink?
Well, you know, it's one of those things in a house that we do get a lot of calls for, and people end up spending money to have somebody do it. And it's really more simple than they often think, and they could save themselves some money by just knowing how to do it themselves.
Yeah, when I was thinking about it, it's one of those things. Every once in a while, there are things that we can like teach people to do. And it's not that you don't have to have special training to do it. You don't have to have a license to do this. And it really is sometimes just a lack of understanding how the system works or how to actually do it. And when we come across these things that aren't super difficult, they just take a little bit of knowledge to do. I love sharing those types of things, and because I think people appreciate, being educated on those types of things. And so let's actually talk about why those sinks clog up as much as they do.
So bathroom sinks are notorious for just constant clogs, and what it usually is from is anything cosmetic, not just makeup and things, but lotions, toothpaste, all the stuff that we put in a bathroom sink. It's different than what we put in most of the other drains in the house, and that stuff builds up inside that drain, and most of the time it's in the first 6 to 8 inches of the pipe there. Real easy to get to. It's not buried in the wall or anything like that. Yeah, and it builds up there. The hair gets in there and catches a lot of that. And so by removing some of that stuff, you can alleviate your problem.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about the composition of the mechanics of the drain going from the sink to the wall, most of the buildup and the thing that is causing your sink to go slow is happening before it actually gets to the part that you can't access.
Especially in bathroom sinks because of the actual mechanism for the plug. Anybody on YouTube is going to be able to see what I'm holding here. I'll try to describe it as good as I can. When you look down into the bottom of your sink and you see that little circle in the bottom, that is part of what's called the pop-up assembly for a bathroom sink drain.
So anyone that's got the little sink stopper that goes up and down, the way that works is what?
It has, so the little handle that you see at the back of your faucet, that's, if you're watching, it's this piece here. That's what you see, and you pull that up and down, and that moves what's called plunger, the part inside the sink that goes up and down, by pushing on a bar that comes out of the back of the pipe. Pushes it down, and it lifts that up, and then you pull it up, and it pulls it down. So that whole mechanism there is often the cause of a clog. When you pull these apart, that bar that is actually going up and down to lift that actually protrudes into the flow of the sink water itself. And so you have this arm that sticks into the pipe that then catches hair and things. It drapes over that and it gets caught. And then you start washing your hands, and the oils from your skin, lotions, toothpaste, all that builds up on the hair. And so this little arm, it's about 1.25 inches long, sticks into the pipe and creates blockages. And so a lot of times the best thing to do is pull the P-trap off underneath, which is just the plastic little down and back up pipe. And it's one of these here. If you're watching, you can see it. I banged on the table. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
And it's these.
It was for a good purpose.
Yeah. So if these were all together, it'd look something like this. Which camera do you want me on here?
He'll take a picture of it later.
So it looked something like this. And so you just twist the two. There's two nuts that have little flanges sticking out of them, and you just twist those, and then everything just pulls off. And then you can clean buildup out of the P-trap itself. And then you're left with the piece above the P-trap that goes, it kind of sandwiches around the bottom of the sink. Part of it's inside the sink, most of it's below the sink. You unthread this piece here, you pull this little bar out, and a lot of times the stuff that's building up there will just drop straight out on its own when you remove that bar. Otherwise, you put a bucket underneath it or something, pull this bar out, run a little bit of water. Sometimes that'll push what's in there out. Yeah, and so it's really simple. It's all threaded. Most of the time, you can even twist it by hand. You don't even need tools. Unthread that little piece, pull that bar out, and now you have a more open pipe to get stuff to go down through. The other thing that this does is it actually holds what's the plunger part that sticks up. It holds it in place. So if that bar's in there, this is locked in. Once you pull that bar out, this is now loose. You can pull it straight out, and that also catches a lot of stuff. Now you have a totally open pipe that you can push that debris through and get that pipe totally opened up, and then usually that's going to be your clog right there.
So for those that are listening, when you were saying this and that and that, yeah. all you do is you look up under your sink and you disassemble everything,
pull it all apart, take a picture so you can remember how to put it back together.
Take a picture first, and then when you take everything apart, put all those. What I like to do is, I mean, you can wash them in, like hot soapy water, but I'll also take like a paper towel or a rag or something, and I will run it through the pipe to clean even more stuff off.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, it's not super difficult to clean those pipes. How often do you guys get called out where they think that they've got a problem with the sink and it really is just you guys end up cleaning the sink out?
Yeah, the
sink drains.
In a normal day, we have 6 to 8 just going out to do something like that. And that's 6 to 8 people that could save themselves a little bit of money by knowing how to do it themselves. And so it does happen a lot. Every house has a bathroom sink, and every bathroom sink gets clogs in it. And so it's a pretty common thing.
So if you want a step-by-step visual way of doing it, if you go to our YouTube channel, this podcast episode probably isn't the best to see how to do that. We actually have a video. Well, not because you didn't do a fabulous job explaining, but we actually have a step-by-step video in the DIY playlist of our YouTube channel where it shows you how to clean out a bathroom sink drain and take those things apart, clean it, put it back together. You can see all those things there. How often should somebody clean that out if they want to maintain it?
Just use is going to determine that. If it's a sink that 3 and 4 people are using, more often than others, and maybe once a month or so. But with a sink, if it does start to slow down, it's not going to damage anything. And so for me, it's as soon as I see that drain not flowing at the speed it's supposed to, I pull it apart and I clean it out then.
Jesse, why did you come today?
I just enjoy listening to Jason talk. He's doing a
So
great
does
job.
Jason.
Yeah,
I do.
He's doing a great job. So, if I were to rate you,
I just realized you haven't said anything.
On a scale of 1 to 10, well, he's doing a display, which I really enjoyed.
You can hold it.
Yeah, can I? Oh, thank you.
Yeah, this one's clean.
I love holding it. But yeah, that's really clean. That's really clean. That's something else. Anyway,
I cleaned it out.
Okay.
great job. The flow is probably spectacular.
All right. Nothing to add there, Jesse?
Anybody who has long hair,
Yeah.
you will be cleaning out your sink more often than anybody else.
We've
Got
all
it.
seen the brush that's got all the hair built up on it. It happens to, I don't have enough hair for it to really happen to me a lot. It's more like brushing a dog. But every time you brush your hair, some of that hair is falling into the sink and getting down into the drain. And so if you have long hair, it's going to happen a lot.
All right. Well, anything else on this episode? You said it was going to be a short episode.
I told you this would be quick.
Yeah.
That's how easy it is to clean a bathroom sink.
That's how easy it is. Anyway, well, that's the show. We'll be
It
back.
was a great one.
It was a short one.
Okay, but it was a great one.
What made it great, Jesse? Let us know why you think this was a great
If
episode.
I was a sketch artist, Jason was doing so good, I could have sketched that without seeing it.
You could have sketched him doing
plunger.
With where you went, I actually was thinking of like courtroom sketch artist.
Exactly.
I did too.
So I'm envisioning you sketching him doing that.
Yes.
But that's not what you were talking
Why are
about.
those
Well, it would
always
have been
like
at
abstract?
least his hands.
'Cause they're
I would have
not
had
very
a
good.
set of hands in there.
I appreciate that. But mine are kind of crippled. Use better hands than mine.
I could draw them
That's how-
handsomely. I could draw you some handsome hands.
I would appreciate that. I'll frame it.
Anyone listening to the show that is not on YouTube,
Email Jason if he has.
No.
At mike.wilson@anyhourservices.com.
How
What I was going to
handsome are
say
his
is,
hands?
go back and do what Jesse said. While Chasen is explaining what he did, I would like to receive some pictures, some sketches, since Jesse said that it was such a great explanation that even if you weren't looking at what he was doing, you'd be able to sketch it.
We'll put them on our Facebook
No,
page.
I'm not speaking
I will,
for
actually.
anybody I don't know's talent. I'm speaking for my talent. I could have even done watercolors.
Now, I do want to answer the question of why this was a great episode.
Okay. I thought Jesse explained why it was a great episode, but
He
you
did
have
a
a
great
different
job.
opinion?
I
But
could,
we could have-
I could sketch Jesse explaining how good this
Yeah.
episode
Well,
is.
and we could use 2 reasons why it was a good episode.
One, I
Here's number
actually,
2.
on a serious note, I like being able to give people tips for how to take care of their own house. In an episode where we can break that down, and there's enough things in a house that a person can do themselves, and I like to be able to help people figure out how to take care of their own things if it's possible. Now, there are times when some different equipment or different expertise are going to come into play, and we talk a lot about that. But I think it's important as a homeowner to know these things and what you can do for your own house.
If you've got a slow drain, try cleaning the parts that we just talked about yourself. If you put it all back together and you're still experiencing a slow drain, at that point you may want to call someone to come out and use different equipment or to assess what's actually going on. So that's the show. We'll be back.
Can you?
I thought it was the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Can you buy like those pieces individually? Like I live in a really old house.
Like all the little bits and pieces,
Yeah.
or the whole assembly itself?
Like mostly the plunger part that
Yeah,
Can
the
you, like, buy that
plunger is
separate?
one piece you can buy individually. You can go walk into most hardware stores, any home improvement store, and they should have the plunger on its own. Now, they're not all identical. Some of them have a different length from where it hits the bottom of the sink to where it hits that little bar that sticks inside. And so the safe bet is just replacing this whole piece. And replacing it's a little harder than cleaning it. But yeah, the safe bet's just replace that whole fixture there.
And so what am I looking at if I hit up Home Depot or whatever? What am I looking at?
So in the plumbing section, you have a lot of different sink parts and things like that, and it's going to be in that area. And they'll come in different colors. You want to get so this ring here, so inside the sink you have 2 circles, a bigger one with a smaller one inside it. You'll want to match the color to the bigger one because that part does not replace with the plunger. And so the plunger itself, this is what you're looking for here. It looks just like this. It comes with a cardboard back with a plastic front on it. They're usually very inexpensive, but again, they're not all the exact same. So you'll want to pull your old one out, take it to the store with you, try to get one that matches.
And then last question is, how much will the entire assembly set me back?
It depends on where you get it, what kind you get. This one's chrome. They're a little bit more. There's plastic, but you're going to be somewhere between $20 and $30 for the parts themselves in a lot of cases.
Okay, nice.
Nice.
Mine's bad. Mine right now, like that, the part, like the bar that sticks out that lifts the plunger up and down right now,
Doesn't do
I
it.
can hear it like grinding against the other side of the pipe.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
I
so
need to-
two
I need to
things
replace
happen
mine.
with these. One, they either corrode or erode, and sometimes when they corrode, sounds like what you're describing, they'll actually build on itself and start to actually rub on the other side. More common is erosion. The water will actually wear through this, and it will just disappear. And then when you'll pull this handle, it won't move the plunger at all because the part that actually does the moving has rotted off of there.
Oh, nice.
Good. Any other questions? Good add to the show.
Yeah.
I think you just made the show better, Austin.
Thanks,
Oh, hey,
Austin.
thanks. Yeah.
We're glad you're here.
Yes, thank you, Austin. See,
That's beautiful.
I thought so.
I don't think that's...
And I don't know how long it took you to do that, but I mean, I think
was
it was
quick.
probably like 45,
The
60
man's
seconds.
an artist.
Okay, so what Jesse just showed us was he just took the time to sketch what we were describing. I don't think it's going to look the same as the people that are just listening because Jesse did have the piece right in front of him.
These
He
are the
works on this
instructions
stuff
you would
for
pull
life.
out of the
Don't take
box and
this
be
away
just
from
fine.
him.
Do what?
Don't take this away from him. This is a victory.
So mike.wilson@anyhourservices.com. I didn't get any emails the last time I threw that out there. And so anyone that wants to rewind to where Chasen was saying this part and that part and not describing.
Hey,
Send those sketches. I want to see them. Actually, I'm going to have my kid. I'm going to play that section of the show for him and be like, okay, kids, we're going to have family time. I want you to just listen and just draw what you hear.
You're welcome. I just gave you a good, wholesome activity to do with your family.
I think you guys should do that with your family and just see.
My son's 3.
That's about how well you described that. Any 3-year-old should be able to, get that. All right. Can I end the show now? You
Please,
done with questions and things?
You're welcome.
All right. That's the show. We'll be back next Tuesday with a new episode of In the House. If you'd like to know more about Any Hour Services, go to anyhourservices.com. I've been your host, Mike Wilson, and you've been listening to
In the House.
See ya.